Okay. And welcome to the Stables Network with Tampa Talk with Bradley Walker.
Hey guys, it's Monday night. This is the Sports Cert, and this is Brad. This is Mr. Brad Walker, and this is Tampa Talk, like my producer said. Welcome, guys, to my Monday show. Again, this will be before I move on to my show. This will be the one. This will be the last Tampa Talk show. This show will be rebranded next week to the Sunshine State Sports Jabber, which I will cover the entire state of Florida, not just Tampa anymore. I want to thank Mr. Mark Mancini and Mr. Greg Smith for giving me the opportunity to do that next week. As you can see behind me, the wall has changed behind me since the last time you guys saw me. With the holidays and everything else, I took a couple weeks off to kind of recharge my batteries. As you can see behind me, if you're following me on Facebook Live, I have a USF and Tampa Bay Lightning photos behind me that my brother-in-law made me for Christmas. I also finally got my Deadly Rival Roller Derby jersey signed by all the Derby girls. That will also be going up in the next couple weeks where you guys will be able to see that. I want to thank them a lot for doing that. But as we all know, guys, as of right now, we're getting ready for kickoff of the national championship game. But this evening, I'm just going to, like I said, this will be my last Tampa Talk show, so I'm going to talk about Tampa sports. I'm going to touch on the Tampa Bay Vipers, which is the XFL team. Talk about the Bucks, Lightning, Rays, and the USF Bulls. But again, guys, that will all still be a part of my show next week. I'm not going to not leave Tampa out. What I'm going to talk about next week basically will be, pro football, college football, pro basketball, college basketball, so on and so forth. I'm going to touch all of them, but I'm going to touch every city in the state of Florida, the major cities. In the state, I'll be talking about all of that, but again, that's next week. So let's go ahead and get, guys. I'm going to go ahead and start with the XFL. Again, the season is getting ready to start here soon, next month. So here is the 5 ways. This is off of BleacherReport.com. This article is by Mr. David Harrison. This is how the XFL is different from the NFL. And if you do not know the XFL teams, they are as follows. There are 7 teams in the XFL this upcoming year. You have the Seattle Dragons, the LA Wildcats, the Dallas Renegades, the Houston Roughnecks, the St. Louis Battlehawks, Tampa Bay Vipers, the DC Defenders, and I believe that is the New York Guardians are the 7 XFL teams. The one that's here in Tampa is the Tampa Bay Vipers. They will be playing at Raymond James Stadium, which is where the USF Bulls and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers both play their home games. But here's 5 ways that you can that differ from the NFL, what the XFL will be for this. The first thing, guys, is the kickoff. Kickers are not allowed to kick the ball out of bounds or short of the 20-yard line, and breaking the rule result in the opposing team starting at their own 45. So there is that. The only drawback is there will be no surprise or onside kicks in the XFL. The point after touchdown rule for the XFL, it will be that the Viper fans will not have that problem. Extra points are used in prime time. So the XFL did away with that. They're going to adopt a 1, 2, or 3-point try after a touchdown. So that's a different thing with the XFL. The punt rule is no aiming for the corner. A 35-yard touchback spot eliminates strategy of offense if used to set the defense up. That's a different one. The next one is you can double forward pass. So you can forward pass in the XFL. And the overtime rule is in overtime there will be a winner. They will not just adding 5 plays to the game. There will be an overtime play. overtime in the XFL. That's what makes it a little bit different from that. Let's talk a little bit about the hometown Tampa Bay Vipers. Here is some of the players that are making the roster on the defensive line. You have Obama Godaway out of Oregon State, Ricky Walker out of Virginia Tech, Damos Mont out of Louisville. Second team is Devin Taylor out of South Carolina, Josh Banks out of Wake Forest, Jason Neal, he's an unrestricted free agent, Bobby Richardson out of Indiana, Nikita Whitlock out of Wake Forest, C.C. Jefferson out of Florida, and Giorgio Newberry he's on injured reserve. The linebackers are Emmanuel Beal out of Oklahoma, Reggie Northup out of FSU, Lucas Waka out of Wyoming, Terrence Palmer out of UCF, Ike Spearman out of Eastern Michigan, Anthony Stubbs out of Prairie View A&M. The defensive backs are DeMont Hurst out of Oklahoma, Herb Waters out of Miami, Jared Collins out of LSU, Corey Moore out of Georgia, Robinson Terezi out of Auburn. Those are all cornerbacks. Bryce Candy out of FIU, Terrence McFadden out of FSU, Shelton Lewis out of FAU, Marcellus Branch out of Robert Morris, and Mika Hammerman out of BYU. Third team would be Althura Kelly out of Fresno State, Rodney Randall out of Lamar, Ronell Hall out of UCF, and Robert Firster out of Wyoming. Special teams, their kicker is Andrew Franks. They're Jake Sham and Nick Moore. Special teams, then they have the second team with Matthew Bright out of UCF. So those are special teams, defense, and linebackers. That is the projected defense and special teams for the Vipers. The starting quarterbacks for the Vipers, if you do not know, are Aaron Murray out of Georgia and Quinton Flowers out of USF are the starting running backs. Here is the funny thing about this. It says, is the XFL doomed? This is a controversial anyway. And spring football is not NFL football. It just doesn't work. And the naysayers are here to persuade that differently. But, there it is, guys. Is the XFL doomed? That's the question. Is it doomed? Are we would be another again, this already failed once, guys. The XFL did fail once already. So it's very interesting to see how this will go again. Of course, we all know that the owner and creator of the league is, of course, Vince McMahon, who also owns the WWE. So, like I said, this failed once before, but we were told that this was supposed to be better this time around. Here are the offensive coaches. You have James Adazio, offensive coordinator and receivers coach. Jonathan Hombach is the offensive line coach. Pete Mangarin, and I apologize, guys, if I'm mispronouncing these names, tight ends coach. Justin Poindexter is the running backs coach. Josh Newswander is the quarterbacks coach. Jerry Glanville is defensive coordinator. Burt Hill is defensive line coach. Mike Archer is the linebackers coach. William Fields is the secondary coach. Billy Parker is assistant secondaries coach. Frank Goss is a special teams coordinator, and head coach is Mark Tressman. Here is the roster. Again, for those that the start for the offense, you have Taylor Cornelius, who's a quarterback as well. Quentin Flowers, as we mentioned, Aaron Murray, Dante Dye is a wide receiver. Snanius Jones, KJ May, Jalen Tolliver, Reese Horn, Tanner McCoy, Devon Smith, Jaquez Patrick, DJ May. These are the offensive guys. Taryn Folston is also on the team. Let's see. Offensive. You have Isaiah Williams as an offensive tackle. Trey Jackson, offensive guard. Jordan McCray, offensive center. Deontay Bolton, Jared Folster, William Campbell, Christian Morris, Martez Ivy, Marcus Lucas, Andrew Tiller, Deontay Goldsby, Daniel Williams, Alonzo Moore, Ryan Davis, Freddie Martino, Nick Trusdale, Colin Thompson, Willie Quinn III, Javal Davis, Pearl McIntyre, Bobby Richardson. Bobby Richardson's a defensive guy, but those are the offensive guys that are here that are playing for the Tampa Bay Vipers. If you guys are watching TV right now, LSU is in the tunnel getting ready to come out. So here is the Vipers schedule. Week 1, again, will be on February 9th. That is a Sunday. They'll be playing at the New York Guardians. A week later, they'll be playing at Seattle. Their first home game, guys, is on Saturday, February 22nd at 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Time as they play the Houston Roughnecks. They play the following week against the DC Defenders at home. Then they're on the road again against the Los Angeles Wildcats. Then they have 2 straight home games against St. Louis and Dallas. Then they go on the road to play the Defenders and the St. Louis Battlehawks, and then they're home. The last game of the season is April 12th at Raymond James Stadium. They'll be playing the New York Guardians. So they're going to play everybody 1 game at home and 1 game on the road. The only difference is they will not be playing the Seattle Dragons at Raymond James Stadium. That is not on the schedule, but everyone else is on the schedule for the Tampa Bay Vipers. So, guys, get ready. I mean, it's coming up. The tickets were announced on the radio today, $20 per game for season tickets. So if you get 2 seats, that's $40 a game. And there are 5 home games and 5 road games. So 5, do the math, guys, that's $200 for season tickets to the XFL. If you're a big football fan, you don't want to lose football because, guys, we're in playoff. This is the conference championships coming up. Tonight, college football will be over. By the end of the weekend, this upcoming weekend, we'll know who is in the Super Bowl. So that will be, and football is almost over. So if you guys still want to watch football, you may want to try to hit up the, if you have an XFL team in your area, go for it. If not, try to watch it on TV. I'm going to try to tune in, guys, and see what it's like. I'm to watch the Vipers again. I'll be here in Tampa. I did the website iRock Media that I write for did apply for credentials. I'm hoping that I get them because it would be kind of cool to cover, I guess not pro football, but close enough to it. So we'll have to wait and see how that all comes out. But until then, guys, that is what I'll bring it up, and I'll be covering the Vipers on this show because they're really the only Florida XFL team that we have. There are no other teams in the state of Florida outside of Tampa that got a team. So far, if this thing goes the way it goes, the only team in the XFL in the state of Florida happens to be the Vipers. So I'll be covering them throughout the season on this show on Sunshine Sports Talk, Sunshine State Sports Jabber moving forward. All right, guys. So that's it for the Tampa Bay Vipers. So let's move to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, again, guys, I have not been on the air since the season ended. The season did not end the way that Buccaneer fans would have wanted. They finished 7-9. They went into overtime in the final game of the season against the Atlanta Falcons. Unfortunately, they came up short as Jameis Winston threw another pick 6. He had 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions this year. He was the first quarterback in NFL history to do that. So now the question remains is, do the Buccaneers bring him back for the 2020 season? Is the question, will we see him in a Buccaneer uniform in a matter of, 7 to 8 months from now when the season begins? We'll have to wait and see if he's still in a Buc uniform or if he's gone. If he stays, what kind of, they really don't have any options. They have Ryan Griffin, who they have not let. I think he's taken 1 or 2 NFL snaps. He took some snaps when Winston got hurt during a game this year. Outside of that, guys, he has not got any starts. So, okay, you're going to go out and try to get one of these guys that are, like a Phillip Rivers or a Andy Dalton or an Eli Manning. Does that make it any better? Will that make it better for the Buccaneers next season? I think the one thing, if the Bucs are going to keep him, they better make sure they get an offensive line, because that was, I think, guys, the major problem this year was the fact that the offensive line did not play very well. They need to establish a running game. Ronald Jones and Peyton Barber are not the answers, guys. They're going to have to get a running back in the draft. That's just the way it's going to be. So, I mean, I'm sure I have Buccaneer fans out there. I'm sure I have Jameis Winston people that support him. I have Jameis Winston people that don't like him, that are not fans of him. So again, he threw 33 touchdowns and 30 interceptions this just past season. The Bucs did finish 7-9. Now that is better than the 5-11 the previous two seasons. So the team seems to be moving in the right direction. But this cannot happen next year, guys, because again, if you can think back, let's look back at the season real quick. There was at least 4 games or 5 games this team should have won and did not. Starting in week 1 with the 49ers. Could have won that football game. Failed to win that game. The New York Giants, they failed to win that game. Should have won that game. The Seattle Seahawks game. Should have won that game. Failed to do that. The Seattle Seahawks game. Or did I mention the Seahawks? They should have won that game. Should have beat the Falcons at the end of the season. There were only a few. The Houston Texans game, they had a chance to win that game as well and could not do it. So if you take those 5 games and you flip those around, you're looking at 12-4, and this team may be in the playoffs when we're talking about a playoff team. Would they have got to the conference championship game? Probably not, but they still would have been in the playoffs, and they still would have been in the picture to get to the playoffs. So hopefully next year, Bruce Arians fixes this. It's going to be an issue that they bring him back. Now, again, the biggest one, guys, as far as free agents in the quarterback position, probably would be Teddy Bridgewater. If they can get him out of the New Orleans Saints, now remember, the Saints are also out. They got knocked out. So now the question is, with Drew Brees coming back, if Drew comes back, will you want Teddy Bridgewater to start or not? We'll have to wait and see. I mean, will he get a chance to start? If he doesn't, would he want to come here? If he does come here, they're going to have to shore up the offensive line because Bridgewater has had some knee injuries. So you don't want to end up hurting him in the first couple weeks of the season. So if that's the case, they're going to have to keep that going. Another thing I think the Bucs are looking at too, again, we were just talking about running backs. They're going to have to shore up the running back situation. They're going to be picking, later in the draft since the 7-9 record. So, it will be interesting that, they should go after a running back or offensive line help. I think both of them are needed. The secondary, they may need to go out and get some free agents in the secondary to sign some guys to help them out in free agency, because that's just the way it goes. But I really honestly do not believe that they're going to trade Mike Evans, Adam. I don't see the Bucs doing that. That's a big part of the offense. I don't see that. I mean, unless they're going to trade up to get Detroit's pick, that would be the only thing that I could see them doing. But I don't see them trading away Mike Evans. He was a big with Dobbins and Taylor in the draft. I don't know. Well, that'll be interesting to see in the next few months as the draft gets closer in April. How we'll have to see, how that goes. But the Bucs guys. It's going to be interesting now. The next few months, they can to talk to see who they're going to bring in as a quarterback, if they're going to keep him, what trades they're going to make during the offseason and stuff like that. Let's go ahead, guys, and talk about the Tampa Bay Rays. There have been some trades recently that the Rays have made. The Rays did trade away Matt Liberatore, which is a prospect pitcher, to the Cardinals, and they acquired outfielders Jose Martinez and Randy Ozarena as well. They also gave away some prospects as well. So this is kind of different for the Rays. Normally the Rays trade players for picks and prospects. This time around, they did the complete opposite and traded away prospects to get actual players that will be ready this year. This team knows, it's fighting the bullet. Because you play in a division with the Yankees and the Rays. I'm sorry, the Yankees and the Red Sox. I apologize. When you play in a division with those guys, it makes it a little bit more harder because they can go out and sign free agents. The Rays don't have that kind of payroll. In fact, the Rays were dead last in payroll last year in Major League Baseball, and they won 99 games. So you can show how that goes. But the funny thing is, like I said, they usually do not trade away prospects for picks, but this time around they didn't. So let's see how this works out for them. As a fan of a team that is in the same division as they are, I'm gonna admit that I'm pretty scared, and I can honestly say this too. I don't know what the punishment is for my team coming here. If you guys did not see what happened today with the Houston Astros, I'm going to cover that on, of course, guys, my normal show, The Walker Report, will not be on Thursday. It'll be on Wednesday late night. I'm going to be on from 10 p.m. till 12 a.m., so strap in for a long show. I'm going to be up till midnight. I'm getting ready. I'm going out of town this weekend. I wanted to get my show in. I didn't want to leave another week with no show. That's why I'm doing this show this evening too, guys, because I didn't want to leave this show again. If you guys did not catch it earlier at the beginning of the show, next week this show will be rethemed. The Sunshine State Sports Jabber. I will be covering the entire state of Florida. This will not just be strictly about Tampa sports. It'll be the entire state. I'm going to cover everything pro basketball, college basketball, pro football, college football, baseball, XFL. I'll cover that. If there's any soccer, any major events going on in the state of Florida, I'm going to try to cover bowl games. I'll probably be covering, letting you guys know my thoughts on the East-West Shrine game that's happening this weekend. So we'll have a lot to talk about. The show will be going to an hour, maybe longer next week, because I'm going to have a lot to talk about more than that. Yes, I do think Alex Cora will be suspended. I think in the end of it, it will be. Let me go ahead, guys. I've been, as you can see behind me to my left or right. It's on my right, but the camera's turned around, so my left. If you see behind me, I was at some Lightning games over the weekend. I went to the game last Thursday. That's why there was no show. They won 4-0 over Arizona. They just had their 10-game winning streak snapped last night by the Devils, 2-1 in New Jersey. Let's hope that they can start a new series coming up on tomorrow night when they play the LA Kings at Amway Arena. If you guys have not gotten a chance to go out and watch a game, go tomorrow because it will be the last home game of the month. Because the fact of the matter is they have a lot of road games in the month of January. So this will be the last home game of the month for the Lightning. But again, it'll come down to that. But again, they've been playing very well. This team looks like they've turned around and turned this season around as they have moved, from a middle pack team to second in the division behind the Boston Bruins. They are 4 points ahead of Toronto, and they're only 7 points behind Boston to first place in the division. So the Lightning have been doing very well so far. So look, the Lightning have done very well. I look to see them get back on top tomorrow night against the Kings moving forward. Watching the national championship, guys, right now, and the funny thing about it is Clemson sidelines. Head coach Jeff Scott will be coming to USF after this evening to start his tenure. He's got a big coaching staff that he's compiled together to get this thing started. The funny thing, I told my buddy I think that this is one of those years that that they're probably going to go 6-6 or 5-7 with a new head coach trying to get the system in. Yes, Adam, you are correct. We are 4 weeks away from the Daytona 500. And because I'm covering the state of Florida now, guys, I will actually talk about the Daytona 500 because guess what? That's a Florida event, and I'll be talking about that as well. So Jeff Scott is the offensive coordinator for the Clemson Tigers. So he will be taking over USF here in the next couple weeks. I was actually at my first college basketball game yesterday at the Yingling Center in Tampa. USF was playing Memphis. If you guys do not know who Memphis's head coach is, that would be the Anthony Penny Hardaway. I talked about Memphis on the Walker Report a bunch with their player being suspended. He wasn't there yesterday, but the Memphis Tigers were down by 9 points midway through the third quarter and came all the way back to beat the Bulls by 4. So that is definitely something that they'll have to clean up. It was kind of cool. I had never been inside the Yingling Center, but it was very, very cool. In fact, I got this yesterday, guys. I don't know if you can see this very well, but that is Dick Vitale's autograph. I got this in the press box, not in the press box, but in the club level as we were walking out. Somebody left this on the table. He was actually there in person doing the game for ESPN2 yesterday. They gave him a signed basketball at halftime, but I was able to get this card on my way out, and somebody left this, so I picked it up. This is his autograph, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in a frame because this is, pretty cool. I'm a big Dickie B fan myself as well. Like I said, guys, it was very interesting. I definitely would go back for another basketball game if I was invited back to go. I know it's not very expensive to go to a game. I also, guys, I don't know if I can show this. I'm going to try to do this without damaging my camera and or myself. But if you can see this, I'm going to cover myself up here. This was given to me also on Saturday. If you do not know, I am a huge roller derby fan. I attend the roller derby matches once a month. And there would happen to be one this past Saturday. They gave me that jersey, guys. That is signed by every one of the active Deadly Rival Roller Derby skaters. That jersey right there will be behind me in the near future. I'm going to try to definitely put it up moving forward. But that was kind of a cool thing that I got kind of a couple autographed items over the weekend. But I think, guys, that is going to about do it. I think my half hour is up. Let me see here real quick. I want to make sure that I have that. I believe college basketball is awesome. I really did enjoy the game. I got into it late in the game. Also, too, guys, if you can see behind me, you see like little cords hanging behind me. Those are my credentials. That was an idea. Also, too, I've moved walls since the last time I saw you guys. I moved across my room. I'm going to try to I'm going to be gone this weekend, but over the weekend when I come back on Sunday, I'm going to try to do this wall behind me. I may even, guys, go out and try to get a video camera and put it in front of me and do it that way instead of doing Facebook Live, and I'll post this later on, or I'll have it synced into where I can do Facebook Live from the camera, where it'll use the camera instead of the webcam, and I'll be able to put the jersey in front of the table. But it was a very, very good weekend, guys, and I want to say thanks to everybody who supported Tampa Talk, and please, don't hesitate to come over and be on my other show, the new show. This will just be renamed. It's still going to be the same good show that I have every week. It'll be on Monday nights. Like I said, it may go from 8 to 10 now, or 8 to 9. I'm going to see how the format goes. So I'm going to have a lot more to talk about. I'm still going to leave this stuff up behind me. You're still going to see USF and Tampa stuff. I will have my roller derby jersey either in front of me or behind me. I'll figure that out, guys, as it goes. But I want to thank everyone that, has supported the show. I'm not going anywhere. It's going to be renamed. I'm going to have a lot more to talk about, hoping to grab a little bit more demographic. I did happen to reach out on LinkedIn to a couple guys. I got into another group. I'm going on someone's show tomorrow, talk about the national championship game and the Outback Bowl that I was at as a credential writer. So I'm going to see what that's going to do. Maybe I can bring in some new audience. Adam, I'm trying to get Adam his own show. That's right. I reached out to my man Mark Mancini, try to get him his own show. Hopefully that conversation went well. But guys, I think that's going to wrap up the final Tampa talk. This is how it goes, guys. This is again, the show will be called the Sunshine State Sports Jabber starting next week. I'm going to talk about all Florida sports, all the events that are going on. I'm going to try to cover it all, try to get everyone in here, all Florida fans, not just the Tampa Bay area. But the Tampa Bay area will be a part of this. I'm not going away from the Tampa Bay area. This is all going to be a part of this. So, guys, again, I love you guys so much. Thank you for your support. I'll see you guys next Monday. Again, it'll be 8 o'clock. If you guys can join me, come hop on with me on the Walker Report this upcoming Wednesday. It's a special day, guys, 10 p.m. till midnight. It's going to be a late night show. I can't wait to see how that goes. But I'm doing it because I'm going to be ready to go on vacation this weekend to celebrate my niece's birthday. So I won't be here on Thursday night, but I wanted to do a show. But guys, like I said, I love you guys very much. Thank you for all your support. See you guys next week on the new format next week. I will see you then. Again, I want to extend my thanks to our soldiers, both abroad, both domestic. I want to send prayers to the ones that are in Iraq right now, trying to keep us safe. Thank you for all our military that you guys do. Thank you to our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics, our domestic soldiers for keeping us safe here abroad and giving me a chance to talk to you guys every Monday. Again, guys, until we meet again next Monday under a new name, this is the Sports Star Brad Walker signing off. Love you guys. Peace.